Good morning, everyone. How you all doing? It's Sal Stretford Post. How you all doing this fine morning, this sunny, hot morning? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawning. Now I'm yawning. It is very in the morning, and I know you're yawning. It is very early in the morning in Europe. I'm in the Middle East, so I'm going to bring you the latest Manchester United news so early in the morning. It's 7 a.m. in the UK, where I'm from, but I'm living in the Middle East. And it is 10 a.m. so we're bringing the news nice and early for you, just to give you a little bit of news and transfer news and a bit of positivity to go with your breakfast, to go with your porridge, whatever you like, cornflakes, whatever, Rice Krispies, Ricicles. They don't do Ricicles anymore, do they? There's none of that anymore. No, Weetabix was my thing, but you can only have Weetabix with a lot of sugar or honey. You can't eat Weetabix on its own. I don't trust people who eat Weetabix on their own. Who eats Weetabix on their own? Come on. I don't trust people who do that, unfortunately. So, that's only me, but, I'm not a morning person anymore. I don't eat till 12 o'clock. I've gone on this new a sort of fasting thing where you eat at 12 and you stop eating about 6. It works. It's not too bad. It works. Maybe I should start a new fitness and health video every day or something like that, just to like get you in the mood for the summer, get you that summer body. See, I know what to do. I'm gonna get you that summer body so you can run around on the beach and blah blah blah. Let's do this. What's going on, everyone? I'm talking a load of rubbish. I know, it's morning. We love it. We love the vibes here. We love the jokes. So I'm gonna talk about Manchester United, and Manchester United now, of course, have Dan Ashworth through the door. So whilst Dan Ashworth is through the door, that means that we have news, and things will start to develop and things will start to get better. Now, firstly, Manchester United and Dan Ashworth are rumoured to be looking at a complete clear out at Old Trafford. Of course, we heard yesterday that Manchester United are ready to make a quarter of the staff redundant, with around 1,000 members of staff going to be jobless. So this is a very concerning thing. It's very upsetting, of course, what the Glazers have done to our club over a number of years. Do you agree with Jim Ratcliffe making certain people redundant? I mean, I'm no expert on the employment side of Manchester United. I don't know where these jobs are going to be cut. What I do know is that it's always sad when people do lose their job and people do become redundant. Those people have mortgages, those people have loans, those people have kids, so I would never glorify or celebrate anyone being made redundant. I think it's really sad, and I think it goes to show you how badly run we have been over the past decade or 20 years of the Glazers' ownerships. Can you believe it? Nearly 20 years. It's crazy how long they've been at the club, how long they were made to leech from our club. It's completely disgraceful. And I feel for those people who are going to be made redundant. Of course, Jim Ratcliffe has said he wants to concentrate on the team and he wants the majority of the finances to go towards the team. That's all well and good, but those people who are being made redundant earn about 35 grand a year. You're going to save about 1.7 million, something like that. I mean, I'm not too sure. I think they could have done cuts in other areas of the club. I mean, we've got too many cooks in the kitchen, in my opinion. We've got too many people who shouldn't be at the club, who are earning a lot of money. For example, players who down tool, players who don't want to play, players who moan on Twitter, those sort of things, I know the team is the most important thing. Whilst the team does well, the club profits as well. But as I said before, I don't know where these cuts are going to be made. But what I've heard is that most of the cuts are going to be from people who have regular jobs, who are on about 30k a year, have mortgages, etc. So all I could do is wish them the best of luck. I'm sorry this has happened, and I'm sorry this is happening at our club, our great club, which prides itself on being the biggest club in the world. Sometimes we just don't act like it, do we? We just have so many problems at the moment that cannot be disguised, and obviously Jim Ratcliffe is trying to highlight these problems. I feel like the certain little things that are being done are reminiscent of the Glazers regime. You know, for example, giving the Old Trafford a lick of paint. We've gone one step further. We're building the tunnel. That's great. You know, nice. You know, apparently it's going to improve the atmosphere or something like that. Let's see about that. Let's see about that. And also the Stretford End, the VIP section in the Stretford End is going to be turned into an ordinary season ticket holder area. So that means more season tickets will come available in the Stretford End. I sat in the Stretford End for a few years. I know what the Stretford End is like. Stretford End is it's the best stand in the stadium. I mean, of course, no offence, but I was a season ticket holder front row at the Stretford End for a while. So I know what the Stretford End is about. Cutting the VIP. Yeah, that's more like it. That's more like it. Cut the VIPs, the lounges, things like that. You know, but they make money, don't they? They make money. Has anyone ever been to the lounge at Old Trafford? I tell you what, I've been at the lounge at Stoke City. I have, believe it or not. It's not bad. It's not bad. Sandwiches are like no frills sandwiches and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's about no frills crisps, Watsits and things. Good morning, Sonny. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Sonny Milan, what a name. That's a great name. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me this morning. Now, the first bit of news in regards to outgoings is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Scott McTominay are interested in Galatasaray. Galatasaray last month offered 20 million for Wan-Bissaka and Scott McTominay. I don't know whether we are pound land. I don't know whether we are pound stretchers. But that is a very, very awful offer that Galatasaray gave us a month ago. I don't know if I'll be entertaining them anymore with that kind of offer. That is really, really harsh. 20 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Scott McTominay. That deserves a moment of silence, doesn't it? It does. It deserves a moment of silence. Now, Galatasaray have come in with another offer, are prepared to come in with another offer for Scott McTominay and Wan-Bissaka. Hopefully it's at least double what they offered, because at least double, it could be triple, to be honest with you. We purchased Wan-Bissaka, of course, for 50 odd million pounds, right? Scott McTominay, although there's many who don't rate Scott McTominay would be a fantastic player for a club like Galatasaray. Of course, Scott McTominay, it has gained the interest of other clubs. Scott McTominay is wanted by Fulham also. He's also wanted by West Ham United along with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is also wanted by West Ham United. As reported yesterday, Wan-Bissaka would interest West Ham United, also Scott McTominay. How much do you think would be acceptable for the both? How much will Scott McTominay go on his own? That's the question. I mean, I wouldn't accept anything less than 30 million for Scott McTominay on his own. Scott McTominay is still a young player. Well, he's 26, going on 27, I believe. So he will give a good shift for anyone who signs him. He will be a very good player for West Ham United. He will be a very good player for Galatasaray as well. Also, so will Wan-Bissaka. I honestly felt that Wan-Bissaka should have been in the England squad, because he could play left back, right back, and they'd be able to better left back than Trippier. Is that 35 million for McTominay, Sonny? 35 million for McTominay, or for both? I think about 50 million for both. I think we can do a knockout, Manchester United deal or no deal, two for the price of half. Yeah, Scott, 35 million. I completely agree. I completely agree. People are trying to rip us off. People have no respect for us at the moment in the market. What kind of deal is that? 13 million, 21 million for Scott McTominay and Wan-Bissaka. We don't hold these streets anymore. We don't belong in these streets anymore. People have no respect for us. We need to regain our respect in the realms of football. We do need to regain our respect. When you're trying to offer 20 million for Wan-Bissaka and Scott McTominay, that's like pathetic. Pathetic. As the Ten Hag outers called me, pathetic. Not pathetic anymore, is it? You are the pathetic ones, you Ten Hag outers, you imbeciles. Yeah, Bissaka, 25 for Bissaka, 35 for McTominay. I'd be very happy with that. I think that Bissaka's worth more. I think he's a very good low block defender. A low block defender would be good at a club like West Ham. You know, he will do well at a club like Fulham, for example, because they do play the low block. And I think he will do a very good job for them. That's why I was very impressed with Wan-Bissaka when he was playing for Crystal Palace. I felt he was very impressive. But then, obviously, you realise that he's a good low block defender, but attacking wise, it's null and void. He doesn't attack. This is the problem. This is the problem with Wan-Bissaka, you know. But 35 for Scott McTominay, 25 for Wan-Bissaka, as my man Sonny Milan said. I completely agree with that. That would be a good chunk of money back, and we go into the kitty. We go into our transfer fund. That's what we want. Transfer funds. That's what we want. Kenny, how's it going, mate? You're saying 20 million for Bissaka and 40 for McTominay? Yeah. Take or no take. You say potato, I say patata. You say tomato, I say tomato. Whatever you want, it's money in the bank. 60 million. 60 million for two. For the both of them. We'll be happy with that. We're absolutely over the moon. That could grab us a good player. Of course, we've got to think about FFP, of course. FFP is very important. But that would be a good chunk of money back that we could put back into the team. You know, that will go towards a Delict. That will go towards a Ugarte. That will go towards a Gutierrez or a Xerxes. That will buy us one of those sort of players. If not, could buy us 1.5 of those sort of players. You know, it could do if we get the money. 21 million for both is an absolute disgrace of an offer. You know, we should ban Lazio. Ban them from ever bidding for one of our players again. I never forget when Lazio took took Marcelo Salas. Who remembers Marcelo Salas, right? Marcelo Salas was a Chilean international, very good player, striker. Manchester United were after Marcelo Salas for a very, very long time. We were bidding, we were not applying, you don't apply to bid, but we were bidding for Marcelo Salas. We were after Marcelo Salas at the time. And Marcelo Salas then played England, I think, in a friendly, and they beat England 2-0 at Wembley. And he scored this phenomenal goal. There was a long ball, and then there was this volley that went into the corner. It was a brilliant goal. It was a brilliant goal. And then we were bidding for Marcelo Salas, and Lazio came out of nowhere. Lazio and bid for Marcelo Salas and signed Marcelo Salas from under Sir Alex Ferguson's nose. Never forget that. Of course, everything happens for a reason. If we signed Marcelo Salas, you know, would we have won the treble? You never know, because do you know it's the butterfly effect, isn't it? You think about if we signed Ronaldinho or if we signed these, but it's the butterfly effect. You don't know what would have happened. Would we have been as successful as we was, you know? Back then, you never know. All I know is that I wouldn't change anything back then for the world. I think 90s, I wouldn't change anything for the world, and that includes the defeats. That includes the Blackburn Rovers 95. I would not change anything about Manchester United in the 90s for the world, because it was a fairy tale. It was a fairy tale. Now, Mason Greenwood is interesting the likes of Marseille and Lazio again. Marseille and Lazio will battle it out for the signature of Mason Greenwood, the talented young England international, or some may say former England international. I think he deserves another chance. I think he's better than a lot of those attackers in the squad. But Marseille and Lazio will battle it out for Mason Greenwood, which is a good thing, because they can bid for Mason Greenwood and they can put higher bids in. That's a good thing. Of course, Mason Greenwood is wanted by a number of clubs across Europe, in Spain, in Italy, in France, and he would make a sad ending to a very promising career. Of course, what's happened to Mason Greenwood is completely sad. It's way out there as one of the worst things to happen to a player at Old Trafford, of course, you know, in regards to politics and having a potential to do something really big, but, you know, sabotaging himself, so to speak. You know, of course I would have loved Mason Greenwood to stay, but it's not going to be for his benefit. We cannot be selfish. It's going to be bad for Mason Greenwood, you know, if he stayed at Manchester United, as I've repeated loads of times. But Marseille and Lazio are battling it out for Mason Greenwood. I'll be happy with a deal about 40 million-ish for Mason Greenwood. He's worth a lot more. He is worth a lot more, and that would be proven. But of course, beggars can't be choosers. We cannot argue about that. If a bid of 40 million plus is offered for Mason Greenwood, I think we should just accept it. and we move on to pastures new. We have a lot of good youngsters coming through the ranks at Old Trafford, and I would like to see a few more attacking players coming through as well, more strikers coming through. We have a few good defenders coming through. Amas is a very good left back, of course, is coming through defensively, and obviously Luke Shaw is a big fan of Harry Amas. He said that he's the one player in the youth team that has impressed him the most. Now, Victor Lindelof has been gaining interest across the board. Victor Lindelof has been interesting Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce. Victor Lindelof and Jose Mourinho could be set for a reunited bond of friendship. A bond of friendship is reunited at Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce are interested in Victor Lindelof. Of course, Victor Lindelof has 1 year left on his contract. How much he goes, I think we should say accept around 20-25 million for Victor Lindelof. Jose Mourinho is desperate to bring Victor Lindelof back to Manchester United and back to Fenerbahce, and he would be Jose Mourinho's first signing, I believe. And of course, Jose Mourinho is no stranger to bringing players back, players he's worked with. Of course, he's done it at Chelsea. When he was working at Porto, he brought a whole bunch of players from Porto to Chelsea. Some may say that was a little bit unfair on Porto. Of course it was. But Jose Mourinho is interested in Victor Lindelof, and I feel like we should cash in on Victor Lindelof. Right now, we have not signed any defenders, so we have to be careful, of course, that we do get some defenders through the door. Because if we do end up selling Victor Lindelof, it will bring a big problem for us defensively again. Deja vu here. So, we need to be careful who we sell if we're not replacing these players. But of course, it is more or less certain that we're going to bring up through players through the door. Of course, as us in the chat have said, Branthwaite and De Ligt will be two brilliant signings for Manchester United defensively, and that will contribute to us moving on to the midfield and moving on to striker area, which will be a good start for Manchester United. But at the moment, we have not signed anyone and we have not brought anyone through the door, which is a shame. But of course, as long as they're through the door before the friendlies, that would be very, very decent. And it would make a change for Manchester United, to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely. Now, in regards to, of course, Lindelof, regards to McTominay, if I take it back to McTominay, there's also rumours that Southampton are interested in McTominay. Southampton and Fulham are interested in McTominay. So if Southampton and Fulham battle it out for McTominay, if West Ham and Fenerbahce battle it out for Wan-Bissaka, if Marseille and Lazio battle it out for Greenwood, it's only good for Manchester United because we can take the highest offer. And that's what it's all about, is taking the highest offer. We need money, and we need to take the highest offer, and we need to sell those players ASAP, because we cannot keep players that are surplus of requirements at Old Trafford. We need to be smart, and we need to keep going in regards to selling players and bringing players in. We need to move. Business is getting short. We are losing time. We need to get a move on. It is, ladies and gentlemen, the 4th of July. 4th of July. We are getting close. So we need to get a move on before those pre-season friendlies hit us. We've got 10 days to the end of the Euros, of course. So who knows who will still be at the Euros? Who knows who will be at home? So 10 days before the end of the Euros, I hope that we have a few players through the door by the end of the Euros, which is the 14th of July, I believe. Now, in regards to Harry Maguire, a decision will be made on Harry Maguire this week. Harry Maguire is set for showdown talks with Dan Ashwood. Dan Ashwood is going to be a busy man this next few weeks, of course, because he's going to have talks as well as with Marcus Rashford. Of course, very speculation surrounds Marcus Rashford as well. But Harry Maguire is a player that we tried to sell last season, couldn't quite get it through the door. Wages ended up being a problem. West Ham offered the right amount of money, but wages ended up being a problem. He is set for showdown talks with Ashwood. And in my opinion, I don't think we should sell too many in regards to one position, because, hear me out, let me land. I think that Harry Maguire would be a good... If we sell Lindelof, I think we need to keep some reserve in the squad. Although I think Harry Maguire would be a good cash for us, or cash cow. He wouldn't be a cash cow, but he'd be a good profitable investment, not investment, but sell-on for us. Harry Maguire played well when he played last season. Of course, got injured at the latter part of last season, but when he was called upon, he done really well. Nothing but respect for Harry Maguire because he didn't open his mouth when he's left out the team. He didn't open his mouth when he lost his captaincy to Bruno Fernandes. Harry Maguire is a model professional. Harry Maguire is, when called upon, does really well. I still feel he should have been called up to the England squad. He's better than Dunk. He's better than Konsa. He's better than Gomez, I believe. And I believe that is very harsh on Gareth Southgate. He's a no Man United hater, we know that. To single out Harry Maguire and leave Harry Maguire out of the England squad. Now, if we get a bid in the region of 30 million, then it's going to be hard for us to turn down that type of money. Because that type of money can be reinvested on someone younger. And it would be a good idea for us to sell him if it was offered about that much. About 30 million for Harry Maguire. Of course, we paid, you heard it, 90 million. 90 million for Harry Maguire we paid, and was a very, very bad deal for us. Should have been about 40, 50 million pounds, of course. And Everton are trying to screw us over with Branthwaite, of course, for 60, 70 million. We cannot fall for those traps, although Branthwaite would be a very good buy. If we do sell Maguire, invest it on Branthwaite. Get Branthwaite through the door. Get Branthwaite through the door. Sign Branthwaite. Very versatile as well. People are not touching on this, how versatile Branthwaite is. He's a very good player, and he will be worth more in the future. Left-sided, right-sided, very good player. People don't notice this about Branthwaite. He can play on the right of centre and defence as well, and he can play on the left. Him and De Ligt will be lit. Him and De Ligt will be lit. They will light up the players. Yes, definitely. So defensively, there's a lot of circles going around. It is a merry-go-round of transfers in, transfers out. Nothing concrete yet, but Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, and Scott McTominay, defensive players, could be leaving Manchester United. Watch this space. Will they all leave? I don't think so. As my friend Ben said on Twitter, I think we don't have the time to get rid of all of them. I don't think we do. This is why I think if we don't get a bid sufficient enough, we should keep one of them. And my preference is Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire. Second is Wan-Bissaka. Now, in regards to Jadon Sancho, news on Jadon Sancho is that Borussia Dortmund have come back with an offer that is disclosed, an undisclosed offer for Jadon Sancho. Of course, Borussia Dortmund were talking the talk all last season, talking about how much they love Jadon Sancho, how much Jadon Sancho is their love child, how much Jadon Sancho has saved the club from bankruptcy, how much Jadon Sancho has saved the club from extinction, how much Jadon Sancho has saved Dortmund from a debt crisis, how much Jadon Sancho has solved world peace. We heard it all last season about Jadon Sancho. But when it came to walking the walk, they haven't offered us a good deal for Jadon Sancho. They want another loan, don't they? They want to loan Jadon Sancho. Their love child, their the saviour of Dortmund, they want to loan him again. Now, they are mistaken because Manchester United are a different beast this window. We don't loan players out anymore. We don't loan players out till you get to the last year of their contract. And then you sign them for pennies. You buy him. You either buy him or shut up. Chupka, as they say in South Asia. Chupka. Or pay up the money. Pay up the money or chupka. Yeah? You either pay that money up or chupka. Ban. I'm not going to say the word because I'll get banned. It's similar to banned, but banned. And you know what you get when you have an occupation? You get a job, don't you? So it's banned and then job. So, similar. So basically, Sancho either goes for a fee. My fee would be 50 million around for Sancho. Or you don't come in for an offer. Because we're not going to be held to ransom. We are Manchester United. We've heard that before. But this time we mean it. This time we're busy, where we mean this business. Yeah, we are not lying now. Do we look like we're lying? We're not lying. Look in my eyes, we're not lying, right? Okay, so Jadon Sancho is still interesting. Gaining interest from Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. So Borussia Dortmund are still interested in Jadon Sancho. But Borussia Dortmund you have very short pockets. Your pockets are very small. You still have those knitted pockets in your blazer. You can't get in. You haven't undone the string. You haven't undone the wall, or was it the string that holds your pocket together. You got to cut it, mate. You got to cut it because you're not going into your pockets. Go into your pockets and get that money out. You stingy club. Now, also, Juventus have inquired about Jadon Sancho, and of course, the same policy remains. If Juventus want Sancho, they pay up for Sancho. But Juventus are a more serious club than Dortmund. If you don't believe me, Juventus are one of the biggest clubs, most supported club in Italy. They are more serious than Dortmund. When they want somebody, they pay up for somebody. I know Juventus do have a history of loaning a lot of players. They do have a history of wheeling and dealing. But the Juventus I know are a serious club. One of the biggest clubs in Europe still, even though they were relegated to Serie B. Do you remember? And Trezeguet, and Del Piero, and Pavel Nedved, and Buffon stayed at the club. Loyalty. Even though they got relegated, I believe it was Serie B or Serie C, they got relegated, stayed at the club. Madness. I remember when Sir Alex Ferguson inquired about Alexandro Del Piero, and Del Piero said, I can't leave. Juventus is my club. I love that loyalty. Now, could Juventus sign Jadon Sancho? I think it'll be a good fit for Jadon Sancho, Juventus. I think the Dortmund thing is too comfy for him, too cozy, 2 pillows, nice and cozy. Too cozy for him. It's too VIP for him. He needs to go to Juventus and test himself. Go out to Italy and test yourself. You're like a kitten at Dortmund. You're getting stroked all the time. Your ego's getting stroked. You know, just because you went to Manchester United, well, it's like Battersea Dogs Home, right, at the moment. You got abused and you didn't like it because you did not perform on the pitch. You did not perform. And then you go out and write tweets. Come on. Don't be a sport brat. Test yourself in Italy. Hopefully Juventus will come up with a sufficient offer, unlike Dortmund. Dortmund don't like spending money. They like giving us food stamps for players. So, Dortmund, fix yourself. Sort out your life. Juventus, good luck to you, mate. I would like Sancho to go to Juventus. And if Juventus offer the money, we'll take it. We'll snap your hand off. Now, according to Fabrizio Romano, Sancho is wanted by Juventus, and according to Ebola, is it Ebola? Let me see. No, SOS Fanta. Easy for you to say, SOS Fanta. I prefer Tango myself. Haven't seen Tango here in the UAE. We don't really sell Tango. Tango is the best orange drink you can ever wish for. Miranda is too sweet. I know in Asia, I know they love their Miranda. I know they love their Miranda. I had Miranda the other day. Boy, it's sweet. I don't usually drink sweet, sugary drinks, but Miranda was sweet. I got it from the shop and it was so sweet and my teeth almost fell out. Tango. But anyway, SOS Fanta, on a serious note, have reported that Sancho is gaining interest of Juventus. So just to put some solidarity into my claims. I don't claim to be in the know, but I do hear murmurs here and there. In the UAE, we get some different news from Europe, different news to UK. We get different news. Of course, I'm from the UK, I'm from London. I know how it works. And living here in the UAE, it's been refreshing, it's been fantastic. So anyway, yeah. In regards to Manchester United again and transfer news, Riccardo Calafiori. Now, a name which is new to some people, it's new to the worldwide of football. I watch a lot of Italian football, of course, Calafiori, I've seen him in Bologna, of course, my wife's Italian, I've got Italian relatives and blah, 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 but I see a lot of Italian football, and Calafiori obviously has been a good player for a while now. Arsenal are interested in Calafiori. A lot of these Arsenal fans didn't know who Calafiori is 2 weeks ago. It's just because of the Euros that, you know, if I spoke to them about Calafiori, they think it'd be on the grocery section in a supermarket, you know, some cauliflower, some form of cauliflower. But Calafiori is gaining interest of Manchester United. Now, of course, because of the Euro 2024 Championships, Calafiori's price tag would have exaggerated now. It would have boosted about 1,000% because of his performances. Of course, missed the last game for Italy against Switzerland. Switzerland playing England on Saturday. He missed the last game against Switzerland, and Italy did miss him. They did miss him quite significantly, as you can tell. Now, there's many clubs after Calafiore. Yahoo Sports and Kieran King are reporting Calafiore could be interesting Manchester United. Now, that would be a decent buy. Of course, it's always important that we don't judge players based off championships and things like that. We all remember Karol Poborski, good old Karol Poborski, with his hair all over the place, and the loop goal in the Euro 96. Everyone went mad after that loop goal. Do you remember when he looped it over the goalkeeper? I think it was against Yugoslavia, Croatia, I think. He looped it over, or Denmark, or he looped it over the goalkeeper, and everyone went absolutely crazy. Everyone went absolutely mad, and then Manchester United bid for him. I was very excited about Karol Poborski, I remember. And I remember we used to have these phone numbers that we used to call to find out the latest news about Manchester United. You see, you guys are lucky. You guys are lucky, because we used to have to call a number, right, which was about £5 a minute, £5, English pounds, a minute, to listen to Manchester United news on the phone about transfer news. And I was on the phone there. I was on the phone trying to find out information about Karol Poborski. I remember it. And he said, Manchester United are interested in Karol Poborski in a £3.5 million deal from Sparta Prague, blah, 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 blah. It was like that, right? And I was like, oh yeah, well, we want Karol Poborski. He's a good player. He's a brilliant player, blah, 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 good player. But what it was about Karol Poborski is that, sorry to take it back so many years, but what it was about Karol Poborski is that he was he signed at a time when we had obviously a very good list of wingers. There, of course, David Beckham, Ryan Giggs were in the team at the time, so it was very hard for Karol Poborski to break into the team. But when he did break into the team, he done very well. And in regards to Calafiore, it's important that we don't make the same mistake like signing a player based off the European Championships a few games. It's important that we study him, we look into his play, we look into what he done last season. Of course, to get into the Italian squad, we would have had to be slightly good, right? You would have had to. It's not like we're dealing with, the Scottish League here. We're dealing with Serie A, Serie B, Serie C, Serie D, Serie C A, Serie C B, Serie C D. All this, right? There is a big pool of talent in Italy, right? There's many leagues. It's like England. So if Calafiore gets in the Italian side, right, he's got to be of some substance. He's got to be a player that is slightly good, right? So if we go after him, I'm going to trust that he's a good player. Of course, Italians and Man United don't always go to plan. Of course, we can remember Massimo Taibi, slippery hands himself when we played Southampton, went through his legs. I know. It was terrible. He had a decent game against Liverpool, but we won 3-2. But he didn't really set the world alight, and I felt very sorry for him. I did. Then we have someone who came through the system, the youth team. Obviously, I think we signed him from not Sampdoria. It was either Juventus, Parma, something like that. Federico Macheda. Federico Macheda, who burst onto the scene when he was at Manchester United. Of course, we all remember the last-minute goal against Aston Villa, which contributed to Manchester United winning the title. Brilliant moment that was. Macheda! I wasn't at that game. I was listening to it on the radio. Couldn't believe it. I remember I was pacing up and down the living room. And I was thinking, we need this win. We're losing the game. It went to 2-2, and we need this win. And then, them days when you used to listen to Man United, Radio 5 Live, big respect to them. It used to be so much soul back then in regards to football. But, when we would listen to the radio and we were walking, I was pacing up and down. Are we going to score? Are we going to score? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do this? And then we scored, and you hear the crowd. Yeah, he's going to go. Oh, goodness me. The emotion. People don't quite understand, right? People don't quite understand. I remember once we played Liverpool at Anfield in the 90s, right? In the 90s. And we won 3-1. Do you remember when Gary Pallister scored 2 goals? Do you remember? We won 3-1, right? And untimingly, my family, who never visited me, my family, my cousins, decides to visit me at the game. Not at the game. They didn't go to Anfield. But they decided to visit me at my home when I was younger. And it was Manchester United against Liverpool at Anfield. Early kickoff. I believe the kickoff was 11:30. And Manchester United used to kick off at 11:30 at Anfield to save problems, of course, traffic and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, games colliding and all that, trouble, drinking, this and that. They didn't want people to drink at that game, basically. In other words, they didn't want people to drink. And Manchester United were playing Liverpool and my cousins came round. And I remember we kind of had a bad record at Anfield. The season before that, we lost 2-0 to Liverpool, I believe. Robbie Fowler scored, wasn't it? And Clough, was it Clough or was it, yeah. Or Redknapp, yeah, buried it into the corner. And we lost 2-0. And I remember I was very nervous about playing Liverpool. Of course, I was always nervous when we played Liverpool. But at Anfield in particular, I got particularly nervous. So I didn't really expect us to win. Because of, I remember the game. I remember that, you know, I felt a bit nervous. I felt a bit like, oh, you know, United are playing at Anfield. I was young, and I was kind of like, oh my God, we lost this game 2-0 last time, you know. And this was obviously the mid-90s, so, you know, it was, we were up and coming. We were a young team. Then Gary Pallister scored from corner, and I celebrated like mad. I was and my cousins were sitting there, and they were looking at me like, what the hell is this guy? Like, And, you know, I thought I was crazy. Probably had to restrain me, you know. I said, no, you don't understand. You don't understand what this is about. You don't understand. And, you know, it's really hard to explain to people about football and the emotions of football. You know, taking it completely away from the subject about transfers and stuff. But I'll just bringing it into the emotions of football. When you get into football, football puts you into a trance, you know, and when you score against your rivals, when you have this bitter dislike for your rivals and you score, you know, and you, especially away from home, I don't know what it is about away from home, especially at places like Anfield, you just bomb like no substance in the world could give you that feeling when you score against your rivals. No substance in the world. You go into a different dimension. I've cried when Man United scored. I cried after 2008 Champions League final. I cried in 1999. And I was there at the Nou Camp. I cried my eyes out. I couldn't believe it. When I think about it now, honestly, I feel like tears are coming from my eyes. Tingle down my spine. When I think about like the United 1999, it was just an unbelievable feeling. Honest to God. I dreamed about winning the Champions League, watching Man United winning the Champions League. I dreamed about going to the Nou Camp and watching Man United win the Champions League. I dreamed. And I went there last minute, managed to get a ticket in Spain, and I slept on the beach, and, you know, I was so emotional, and, you know, it was one of the greatest moments of my life, and at the end, I went clubbing. I went clubbing because I didn't have a hotel. And when I went clubbing, and then the next morning we left back to go to London, and it was a magical moment. And every single Manchester United fan, every single Manchester United family to me, could remember it like it was yesterday. And it was one of the most emotional. You see, you can't buy that. And the reason you can't buy that is because we didn't buy that. We built it over a number of years. We had disappointments in the Champions League, knocked out to Fenerbahce, knocked out to Monaco, knocked out to Dortmund, knocked out to, you know, Leverkusen, you know? We had a lot of, knocked out to Galatasaray. You know, we had a lot of disappointments in the Champions League. And, you know, I remember us losing in the Champions League to Barcelona 4-0, you know, and they had that foreign rule where you can only play a few foreigners. And, you know, I remember me sitting there thinking, we're never going to win this tournament. We're just not good enough. And I was looking at Real Madrid, and I was looking at Juventus, I was looking at Barcelona. And I was like, you know, are we ever going to be that good? Are we ever going to get there, especially if we can't play a full team, blah, 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 blah. But I still supported the club, and I still believed. And it was that belief that kept growing and growing and growing that ended up being in a treble victory. And that's the belief that we have to install into our team. We have to install belief into the fan base. Believe. The energy will get us there. The energy will get us to a title challenge. We will get there. Now, news of Manchester United and the 320 million windfall that Manchester United are gained to profit over the next few years. Of course, Manchester United have a new deal with Snapdragon. The new shirt is out. And Manchester United look to make a lot of money from that. Of course, there is Gualacom Technologies as well. That's going to give us 260 million, of course, in revenue, in profits. So it is good news for Manchester United in regards to that. Ineos are starting to implement a profitable business now. Of course, we still have the issue of the dividends with the Glazers. Glazers have said they're not going to take any dividends this year or next year, I believe. So that's a good thing. It would be better if they leave, of course. But that's a good thing that they're not going to take any more dividends out of the club, and they're not going to take any more money from the club, but they're going to wait for help Ineos do the things they need to do, invest in what they need to do. And Ineos, of course, are a very a big company, and they will obviously look to make profitable moves. And Manchester United look to make 320 million in profit in a windfall in the next few years. Could sign more players, of course, with financial fair play and whatnot. Of course, there is more transfer news in regards to Xerxes. Xerxes is, we're still having talks with Xerxes. Xerxes and his representatives are in talks with Manchester United. Of course, it is his agent, which was a stumbling block. 13 million euros the agent wants for wearing a suit, of course. We are still after Xerxes, and of course Xerxes is a very talented player. Came into his own at Bologna last season, struggled at other clubs, struggled at Parma on loan and Bayern Munich, but has come into his own at Bologna, young player of the season at Bologna, of course, and would mark a good signing for Manchester United, would be a very good signing for Manchester United, would be very happy with the deal. We do need another striker to rival Rasmus Højlund. Far too much pressure was put on Rasmus Højlund last season. Rasmus Højlund is still a very raw player. I'm hoping with the arrival of Ruud van Nistelrooy and René Hakke, which should happen within the next couple of weeks, will help Rasmus Højlund improve as a striker. Ruud van Nistelrooy, of course, a world-class striker, one of the greatest of all times, in my opinion, top 3 in Premier League history. Ruud van Nistelrooy will nurture Rasmus Højlund and Xerxes and help them become the strikers that we all hope that they become, because they have the talent, they have the potential. That potential just needs to be realised. We don't want them to stagnate. We need a coach like Ruud van Nistelrooy who can get the best out of them, teach them positioning and where to go on the pitch without running too much, and help them become the strikers that they need to become at Manchester United. Of course, René Hakke will look after the other side of things, which is the discipline side of things. The discipline side of things is what he is good at. He's known for being a disciplinarian. He's known for being strict. How his ideas and his philosophy will work at Manchester United, given that there's players like Rashford, etc., remains to be seen. Of course, Rashford is having talks with Dan Ashwood. Of course, Rashford has his concerns. Of course, Rashford there's no secret, it's not brain science to know that he doesn't like Ten Hag. Them two have had a clash, a love and hate relationship, of course. But Ten Hag upset Sancho, who is his best friend, and of course, Rashford wasn't too happy about being left outside a couple of times last season. Ten Hag disciplined him a few times, took him out the side. But Ten Hag also gave him his opportunity in the FA Cup final, picked him and believed in him as well. But as we know, with players like Rashford who have an ego, they think about the bad things too much. They'll probably think, he left me out, I'm not sure about him. And leaks coming out the dressing room, the same leaks. And when leaks come out the dressing room, we have to think about this, right? The leaks are not going to be Martinez. The leaks are not going to be Rasmus. The leaks are not going to be Anthony. The leaks are not going to be Casemiro. The leaks are not going to be any player that hasn't been there for longer than a few years. So when I think about leaks, I think of Van Gaal era. So the leaks can only be a handful of players. And because those leaks have been going on for a long, long time, so those leaks could only be a handful of players. The leaks that come out are possibly come from players who've been there since the Van Gaal era. And when you think about the Van Gaal era, you think about only a couple of players. And it's not rocket science to find out who those players are. So obviously a lot of developments going on at Manchester United at the moment. Of course, the Calafiore news could wreck Arsenal's plan. Arsenal do want Calafiore. But we hope to scupper their move for Calafiore, and we hope to take him from under the noses of Arsenal. Forget Arsenal. bun Arsenal, as you say. We don't need Arsenal. Arsenal have had their chance. Now, that's me for today. Thank you for tuning in, all you regulars, Kenny, Sonny, all you guys are the best. Thank you for joining me. I will be back tonight for Chatterbox, giving you the latest news, the latest stories about Manchester United, my experience about Manchester United. Please don't forget to smash a like, to subscribe to the channel. If I can ask you one favour, guys, one favour, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to build, we're trying to make it happen. Please subscribe to the channel, spread the word, and let's build this community. Let's build this family. We're going to build it to it's up to the rafters and subscribers and family members and communities. And we're going to make sure we do phone-ins, and we're going to make sure we do video calls very soon. If you guys would like to be involved in that, please let me know. I'll send you the link to this stream. If you'd like to be involved in video calls, I'm doing video calls now. So if you'd like to get involved, let me know. I will send you a video link so you can come and talk to me in person, and we can discuss Manchester United in depth. And we can, you know, discuss your feelings, my feelings, the democracy that is Manchester United. We all have opinions, we all have our preferences. So it'd be great to hear from you. It'd be great to see you as well. So guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have a fantastic day. I hope you have a great one. Hopefully some news about Manchester United. I will be live if any news comes along for Manchester United. I will be hitting those screens and be ready for action. So guys, take it easy. So just subscribe and like. Like, comment, you name it. I need it all. We need it all. We need to build. Thank you so much, guys. Love you all, yeah? Take it easy.